Hey everybody, it's your girl Annette J. Morris, the owner of Go Getter LLC, where it's the vision of Go Getter LLC to help women identify their divine gifts, convert their gift into a 5 or 7 figure income generating business that supports their lives and their legacies. And I'm your host for the Mind TV series. Y'all know every week I bring a bomb boss to come in and talk to you all about their journey through entrepreneurship and how that journey has helped their lives to move in new directions. So I brought my little sis this week, y'all. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, tell y'all who she is, what she does, and then we're gonna jump right into the business of the business. Tell them who you are, Big Drake.
Yes, ma'am. I am Chandrika Carter, CEO, mom, wife, author, and also podcast host. I am a serial entrepreneur. I own Carter Capital, which is the only 24-hour wealth development firm and institute. We offer services such as tax preparation, credit repair, all things finances, accounting for small business owners and individuals. I also own Carter Capital Property Management, which is a corporate housing company to house professionals, doctors, nurses who travel around the world. We have 6 locations worldwide. We also are expanding our portfolio this year. And I own Carter & Associates, which is the #1 tax brokerage licensing entrepreneurs to grow and start their tax companies, whether it's a virtual office or a storefront location.
That's a mouthful right there. We could just pass the collection plate, do the benediction, and let this thing be all over because she done did everything. And Drake, telling people how old you, like, y'all ain't gonna even believe. I thought me and Drake was like the same age. And when did I find out, like for your birthday last year, I was like, wait a minute. And I've been knowing her for a minute now, y'all. I didn't even realize she was this young. How old are you?
I'm only 34.
34 years old. That's why I say Lil sis, but she's still Big Drake. You understand? And now y'all see why she Big Drake, because she got so much going on. Drake, tell them how did you, because listen, this is how I met Drake, y'all. First of all, we were following each other on social media, and she used to do cakes and, what you used to do? Cakes and
chocolate
candy?
covered strawberries,
Yes.
apples.
Yes. And
Apples.
so it was the apple. See, Eve got called with the apple. I got called by it's the apples, y'all, for me. So listen, she had this like stuffed chocolate cover, and that thing looked so good. I was like, I need that apple, right? And at the time, you were still working.
I was still working.
So she was still working, and she was like, well, my job is, I was like, oh girl, that's like 10 minutes from my office. Bring the apple to work with you. I'm coming to get that apple or whatever,
Yep.
right? So
And you came at me.
exactly, right? And got my apple.
Wait, that's so funny. All the way from apples. Like, before the apples, I was doing drinks. Then I started doing
Yes, because you had the
drinks.
No, but you also had what you had? What was the name of the business?
Wait.
The drink business was Drink Drinks?
Yeah.
You also had something else,
No,
though. Was it
was
like
all-
lingerie?
It was all, oh, yeah. Girl.
See, I
Nah, that was Sexy Paradise. with
Okay,
the
I know it was
lingerie.
something paradise.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So see, she been doing this business thing for quite some time. But how did you what made you go into entrepreneurship? Because initially by trade, what's your background?
Accounting.
Right, okay.
Business management. So initially I was working in the corporate world as a manager, moved up to director and all of that. So you basically was at the top of the ladder beyond being a regional manager or being a CEO. And I'm like, okay, I'm already a CEO of my own company, but I really hadn't defined what that meant for me, back then. I actually just was doing things that I love to do, which was like cooking, baking, just being a leader. You know what I'm saying? And naturally it came to me too, once I left. Well, I didn't even leave my last job, right? Once we departed ways, they fired me.
They left her.
left me.
They did her a
Because
favor.
the services are no longer needed.
Okay.
So after
This
that,
little slip is
I
pink.
said, take a slip and a little separate.
Okay.
Right
Go
out.
on. Go
I
on,
did
get.
that. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? And from then on, I just said, nobody's not gonna define my future.
Correct.
So I was like, I'm gonna go 100% into my business. My mom kept saying, get a job, or you could go here, apply here, interview here. I'm like, not going back to work.
Right.
2018, I have not been back at no job.
Since then.
So from then, I went full throttle with the cooking. I started cooking every day because at first I only could cook like when I'm off,
Correct.
after work, doing deliveries, letting people come pick up from the job. So it was like I was getting my business in where it fit in.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I got all the time in the world. So I divided half my time up with cooking and deliveries while my kid at school. I'm trapping out the house all day.
Okay. Because I've been to the house a couple of times to get cake and all kind of stuff. Pull up to the house. This the address.
Yeah. So then in the evening, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my, behind the scenes. I'm doing takes and I'm doing this. That was my evening work. When she doing homework, I'm on the computer too, like that. So after that, I'm like, okay, so how can I, go bigger? So I'm like, okay, boom, go get an office. 2018, the end of 2018, I got into an office. Been in that office ever since.
That's the one on Diamond, right?
On Diamond.
Yeah.
And that's when I started building my team. So people like, I just won't come. I won't help you. Okay, cool. You hired.
Right.
I have no process or nothing. That.
Maybe I get no background check. I don't even know. Okay, come on in.
I'm gonna you a computer.
Right.
All right. So I'm gonna show you what to do. And I
Right.
just started teaching. So this was before I even started the classes.
Oh wow.
So I'm
So
just
technically
teaching.
that was classes.
It
That was how you got into
So
classes.
I literally just was teaching everything that I knew about taxes.
Correct.
And that's how I built my team. So the first year I only had like one person that was coming in helping me or whatever, but she had a regular 9 to 5 too.
Okay.
So then the following year, I did a raffle. And so when I did the raffle, 2 people won the raffle to come to my class. And that's when I started offering like financing and, it was so many more opportunities coming to me. Square real good with
Correct.
hyping you up. Thinking
Okay.
capital and
All that good stuff. Yeah.
I can
what's
get
that
money
on?
without my credit.
Okay. Yes.
With
Yeah.
my
Because
business,
Square
so-
and PayPal do the capital.
Right.
Yes.
So all of that. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna use it to my leverage. I started letting people do payment plans to pay me for my classes. And I'm like, okay, so I did my first class at the library for free. Free class, no
Yeah.
balloons, no cameraman, none
No
of that.
nothing. Yeah.
Just me teaching you what I know and helping you make a bag, right? So that year, 2 of those people that came to my class came on my team.
Okay.
And so the following year, I was able to promote them. Like they was good. They still with me to this day.
Oh wow.
So
Loyal. Get
okay.
that. Okay.
You know the team. Lord.
Okay.
Y'all, you see them on the billboard.
They are. Yes, they are. Okay. Yes.
So I brought them on to the team, and I was like, what y'all think I could do better? Like I always ask them, what could we be doing better as a company? Because I'm thinking about companies I came from. They have structure, so we can't come in here winging it.
Winging it, right? Yeah.
We can't keep winging it. I probably could have kept winging it if it was just me.
But as a side hustle too, like we wing side hustles, but when we go into it being
As
a business,
you start growing, and you really
got
want to
the-
call it a business, and you really want the respect of a business. You gotta ask. You need feedback.
Yes.
You need testimonials. You need everybody telling you what's going right, what's going wrong.
Correct.
You can't just have them telling you what's going right
Exactly.
all the time because you're gonna think you always right and nothing need to change.
And
You
always need to change.
You
Yep.
always
Absolutely.
need to evolve.
Yep.
You always need to learn.
Yep.
Right. Even if it's something that you don't want to hear.
Correct.
You need to hear.
Yep. And that's the constructive criticism, because those are the things that help us to grow when we hear like, what are you doing wrong? Right?
Right.
I need you to tell me that. You
Right.
know what I mean? And even like I tell, my daughter's my COO, and I tell her like, tell me when I'm doing something wrong or better that I could be doing better because
not
I don't
only that-
realize it.
Not only that, you younger, so your ear to the streets more than my ear to the streets.
Absolutely.
Right. So I was thinking about that, incorporating now a internship program so that I can bring in college students that are majoring in certain areas.
Especially
that
like marketing.
My business, my business needs to expand in marketing, television, right? PR. Instead of me just going out there blind.
Correct.
I need an expert under me, leading me and guiding me in the right direction. I don't know everything.
Correct.
I know everything about taxes.
Right, that's my
And
lane.
I'm still learning.
Okay,
right?
that's my lane.
You,
right.
you know what I said.
Okay.
So no, I want to be a tax.
Okay.
Miss Tax.
Okay.
Mrs.
The mayor of tax.
The president.
Okay.
Okay, so in other areas, help me.
Right, yeah.
Right,
The
bring
rest
me
of the
up.
stuff I don't know.
The rest tech,
Yeah.
I don't know. What your computer? You gotta call tech support.
Yeah.
That's not me.
But if you got them taxes, that's
You call
that's
me.
your lane. Right,
Call
exactly.
me anytime.
Absolutely. And so how did you, because I know that, so I'm from personal experience, I know that it's very scary to make that transition. So when we initially make the transition, we go into like full hustle mode. I'm gonna do this like you did, right? So Dreek had the first floor of the building was the tax company. No, the second floor of the building was the tax company. The first floor of the building was her restaurant, right? And so we go into entrepreneurship like, let me do everything that I know how to do, because I go from a job where I'm getting paid, like I have set pay days every other Friday, 15:30, whatever it is, and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. So if I don't fish and if I don't hunt, then I don't eat, right?
Right.
How did you narrow it down from cooking, baking, candy, apples, taxes. 'Cause them two don't even go together,
At
y'all.
all.
And listen, I did the same thing because I had a catering business. I'm coaching on this side, consulting on this side, had
Right.
a nonprofit on this side, and a catering business. Like, they don't even go together. How you do all of that, right? How did you make the decision to narrow it down and be like, I'm about to close this restaurant? Because when I tell y'all the food was good at the restaurant,
People
one day,
still calling me
girl,
right
listen,
now.
I
Girl,
went
I had
got
people begging for king
the
cakes.
seafood,
Like, oh, the praline
pota-
wings.
Yes, yeah. And the seafood, baked potato, and that thing was so good, I was eating it in the car. So, you know, in New Orleans East, you don't just sit in the car outside. So I was trying to scarf a few bites down right quick. So how did you make the transition and determine, like, okay, I'm gonna totally scrap this this cooking business. I'm gonna close the restaurant, you know, whatever, the bakery, because it was a bakery and a restaurant. You did food and donuts and
Right.
king cakes. How did you make the decision to stop doing that altogether and go full throttle into like the tax wealth building game?
So I feel like every year, because I was always doing it, I've been doing the baking for like 7 years, and I've been doing the Texas for 10 years now, right? So every year, one or the other would suffer. So
Absolutely.
when it came down to Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day was like, before I even started doing the cooking and baking full time, Valentine's Day was like my day. I could make 5 figures in one day. I could literally have a $10,000 day by dipping maybe 4,000 or 5,000 strawberries.
Yeah.
But I can dip them so fast, like it's nothing.
Right.
You could literally sit in the car and I can make them
Oh Lord.
that fast, right?
Yeah.
And so the difference was me. On the other hand, I could do taxes in 15 minutes,
Right. And make that.
right? 10 clients, I can make that same $10,000. 15 minutes over. That's
And
me
sit down
working.
and not all
That's
about
me working
it. Smarter and smarter.
maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, and
versus
smarter.
me working 8 hours in the kitchen,
And dipping, because
or
that's physical labor.
24 hours
Yeah.
making pralines, cakes, berries. We cooking. We gotta get up at 4 in the morning to make sure the donuts ready when we open the doors at 6 a.m.
Correct.
We gotta make sure the beans on because people go to lunch at 10 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So we were like a lunchtime restaurant. And so it was all about catching the daytime people. And then, but when I was at home, I had all day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it was a difference from coming from being at home cooking and just making a supper
To being in
versus
a restaurant.
being in a restaurant. And the restaurant did really well. But when I did the valuation, it was like, do I want to sell my business and allow somebody else to diminish my name that I
Right.
built up for 7 years?
Correct.
And you know, cooking is from the heart.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Anybody could do taxes. That's
Yeah.
a skill, right? Anybody could do that.
Yeah.
I can say net. I'm gonna show you how to do taxes.
Right.
You'll have that skill forever and never. Never have to leave home, right?
Correct.
But I can't show you how to cook
Cook
exactly
good.
like me.
Right,
Even
yeah.
with my cookbooks, I can't show you how to cook it exactly like me.
Right, 'cause it
you
probably
might
ain't gonna taste the same.
Put a pinch more,
Right.
a pinch little. You might not stir. You might
Right.
cook it too high, too
Exactly.
low. It's a bunch of different things that can go wrong with cooking, right? That's why a bunch of people say, "Oh, I can't cook."
Right.
Or I
Yeah.
leave that to the experts. Or I'd rather go to a restaurant.
Correct.
But when you go to Texas, you'll try your luck doing your
Yeah.
taxes yourself. You'll try your luck until you get caught up into situations like, I made too much money, I don't know what I'm doing. Then you're going to go to somebody with what? The
Professional.
skill.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So it was and I always love numbers. So it was an easy transition for me to say, I know I can make multiple 6 figures in this one lane versus trying to still work materially in this business and make 6 figures.
Correct.
Right? I made 6 figures in the restaurant industry. I did that. Great. Hit the charts, hit the cookbooks, own the restaurant.
Right.
That's fine. I'm
Right.
retired from that. That's no longer my ministry.
Right.
I'm
gonna
good.
get that to the one that got called to do that. And that's what I tell people, like, there's a difference in when you are able to do something,
Oh, yeah.
and then when you are anointed to do something.
Yeah.
There's a difference, right? Like,
It
I'm
is.
able to cook, and I cook very, very well. So the catering business was successful, but it was tiresome, right? Because it's
is.
like on your body, like you cooking and
Nate,
you
let me
moving
tell
like
you,
all day.
I thought that I wanted to have a restaurant until I got it, right? So you have to be careful. I always tell people, be prepared for what you're praying for. And it's not something that I'm just saying. It's literally
Real,
me
yeah.
telling you, because at home, I had it down packed. I was
Yeah.
doing 10 parties a day on weekends. And weekends for me was starting on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Because people have parties on
On Fridays,
Friday.
yep.
Right? So from Thursday to Sunday, I'm doing 40 parties. Right? Was probably not making that much money.
Not much, right? Yeah.
Right? I'm doing 40
But wear and
parties,
tear on
but
your body, though.
I got 40 parties with a sale, a $150 sale.
Right.
it's not
It's
worth
not
it.
worth it,
Where I
not
can
at all.
see 40 clients and I leave my house
Correct. And sit down and do it.
and sit down and do it.
Yeah, so I ain't got no wear and tear on my body, just on my fingers. I might have a little carpal tunnel, but my back ain't bad. You understand?
Right,
I ain't
but I
lifting
ain't
nothing.
gotta
I ain't got to
mix.
deliver nothing.
I ain't gotta deliver
Nothing, none of that.
Way less overhead.
Yes.
My family probably happy because
Okay,
they're like,
'cause,
oh, I don't got a bag on
Now we
this
got
stuff.
not
We ain't
Bruce in
gotta
the kitchen
scrape
with the
all
light
the
doing vegan
chocolate
meals,
up
huh?
and- Yeah, and girl, when I say since I closed the restaurant, I like hardly cook because it's like, okay, what else is there to
Right.
cook?
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
My
no
husband do all the cooking.
more. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Bruce.
I cook stuff when I won't cook stuff.
Okay.
Like, y'all want this today?
Let me
Coming
just
right
guess,
up.
right? I guess I'll do it. So we closed the restaurant down. You went full time into the tax business. And now you are a 7-figure wealth building business. How much more effective is it? Because people tend to think, and I teach multiple streams of income, and I tell people multiple streams of income does not mean multiple businesses, right?
Oh, come on.
It can be multiple businesses once you are at a level where your first business does not need you anymore,
Correct.
right? And then you can spend more time. Like you have a team here, so it's gonna run without you, whatever it is,
Correct.
right? And then you can dedicate time here. But when you got to dedicate time in the restaurant, time and taxes, like she
Boom.
said, something suffered, right?
It did.
Because you can't be all things and in all places at all times, right? So if you don't have a team that has this business functioning and flowing and all those other good things, then it's not logical to start another business, right? And so how much more effective were you able to be in Carter Capital, Carter Texas, all that other stuff once you closed the restaurant down?
100% more effective. I was able to be a better leader because with the restaurant, it was just me, my husband, my friend, right, and our kids. Hey, every now and then. But with Carter Capital, I have an entire team that I can delegate. Okay, this is for taxes. This is for credit repair. This is my real estate. Realtors that I have in network. These are my life insurance agents that we have in network. All about building wealth,
Correct.
right? I also have resources, right? So if you can't afford our services, I have DIY resources that you can follow along step by step. I have groups where you're gonna get classes. I got mentorships that I can also duplicate myself on.
Correct.
Why? Because I can make videos. I can have somebody stand in for me. We can have events where I don't have to physically be there, but a representative of my company can be there. Whereas in a restaurant, they're looking for that taste. I could give you.
Yeah,
Only
absolutely.
Drika could give me this taste. Only my strawberries taste like this. People felt like I handpicked the strawberries for them when I was dipping strawberries, right?
I'm
So
sorry,
now,
no, I did not.
even now, I have the same effect, but in a different business.
Correct.
When I'm doing taxes, I don't release your taxes, right? But you still feel like because I came to you, my taxes came back way faster.
Yeah.
Because I came to you, you the one letting me know everything about my taxes. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to go look on where's my refund because I came to Drika.
Right.
And my company has that culture. And so anybody you come to on my team is going to make you feel like, oh, you don't have to look for that. I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep you updated.
You always got the communication with us because you got the app, right?
Correct.
You got our email notifications on, right? You got our text notifications on, right? You're always going to be in communication with us all year, not just during tax season.
Okay.
After tax season,
so you
it's
keep them
still
engaged.
tax planning season. Are you keeping up with this? Did you change your W-4? I know some of y'all went exempt.
Right. Yeah.
Make sure you change that back before it come to tax season because you're gonna have to pay back, right? So like educating them all throughout the year, it was easy to do as I scaled up because I had a team.
Right.
I had people that wanted to know stuff. They want to know stuff. They coming to me with, hey, I've read this. What does this mean? Am I right about this?
Yeah.
So they're always eager to learn new things and bring new things to the table. What about this? Can we scratch this? This might be a reason why the clients don't want to fill out stuff online. This might be. So I'm getting both sides of it. It's not just, they were clients of mine. So they get the notifications. Hey, it's too many emails going out. Hey, if I'm a client, they're here to tell me, whereas any random person not gonna be able to tell me that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Because you inside of the business and you on the outside, getting the emails and getting the calls and getting the texts, and it's like, oh my God, it's robotic now.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
But you still want to keep them. Hey,
Engaged,
don't
but
forget
not
about me.
harassing them. Yeah.
Boom. Don't forget about us. We here for you. You get a notice, call us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We not just the person that's saying, bring me your stuff. at the beginning of the year. Then
Right.
you don't hear
And then
from
you'll
us
hear from us
again
again
till
until
the
tax
next
season.
time.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Keeping your audience engaged. And then so from there you were able to, because y'all heard her talk about the corporate apartment and corporate leads. This is really how I got into corporate apartments from her and from the summit last year in Tulum.
So you telling me that you added an additional stream of income from coming to our summit?
It's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay,
Period.
I'm
It's
just
on
saying.
period. On top of listen, girl, when I posted that, I don't know, you know Kawana?
Mm-hmm.
Kawana said, she called me, she said, if you start another stream of income, I'm gonna call and report you. I was like, fool, who you gonna report me to? She said, the stream of income people. I don't know who I'm gonna report you to. She said, but you working like an African and a Jamaican at this point in time. She was like, I'm gonna call and report you because you're doing too much.
Listen.
So I already had at least 10 streams of income and added that, right? Because this was a
No-brainer. A no-brainer.
Just effortless. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
gonna
you ain't
get
gotta
one of
do
them
nothing.
trophies next year.
Okay, period. And because I implemented like a month after we left the summit.
Exactly.
Like,
And when I say,
a month
Net,
later.
you don't need that. Net, you need this. Don't do this. Do it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you.
like a month later. Yeah, so actually went out. I was like, okay, I know everything I need to know. Let me go here. Let me get this. Let me find an apartment. All these things. It was a no-brainer, right? And so just talk about that like a few seconds, like corporate apartments and like the benefits. Like if you want to add that to your business, because it's just too easy. Now y'all gonna have to take the class to learn all the ins and outs of
Exactly.
it. But like, how advantageous is it? Because we're saying like it's a no-brainer, but telling people like you really ain't got nothing to do with it.
So, for me, I was thinking about how can I replace that bakery income? And I was like, what can I do that's passive? Because I did not want to get another stream of income that I had to physically show up for. And for me, the little stuff that we do have to physically show up for, right, wasn't as bad as me having to physically show up every
day.
single day. It was more of having the money for the investment or having a business credit or the personal credit that would allow you to leverage it, right? And once we was able to do that, me and my husband was like, we not buying each other nothing for our anniversary. That was our anniversary gift to each other. And we was like, okay, we're gonna go into this business venture together. Woo! Woo!
That's a different level right there when you
We're
go
gonna
with your husband.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into this business venture together. Got our first one. And it was, don't get me wrong, a bunch of no's before we got a yes. So a lot of times people get discouraged, but we didn't get discouraged. We was like, listen, it's out there, we gonna get it.
We gonna get it.
And so we finally got a yes. We went to Houston, got the first one up and running. And like literally within 90 days, because within 2 days we got our first booking. The first booking was a 45-day stay. After that one we got another 45-day stay. So 90 days we had to made like 20 bands from 2 stays.
Yeah.
And so I'm calling our mentor, our coach, and I'm like, we made $20,000.
Right, just that
did
fast,
it. And he
right.
was like, wait, what? And so, you know, he kind of hyped me up. We did a live. We talked about it. He was like, oh my God. So he was paying attention. He was like, what's some things that you did? And I was like, I'm a host.
Right.
So Southern Hospitality had to kick in, right?
Okay.
So I had to put in some extra stuff in my unit. I advertised differently. Like right now I have a website of my own outside of the other booking sites. And so like it was just a bunch of different things we incorporated. It's like, what do we look for when we going to charges? What do we look, like snakes, welcome notes and like maps and stuff like that people looking for when they go out of town.
Correct.
Of course you go out of town with your agenda, but
Of course.
sometimes you might be going out of town for business, literally, but you don't know anything around here.
Right,
You don't
right.
know what type of neighborhood you in. You don't know what you really getting yourself into when you go out of town.
Right.
And so there was like an adventure to us. We just started and we was like, okay, so when we make our goal was like, now we made 20, so when we make 30, we're gonna get another unit.
Right.
So now our benchmarker is we made $30,000 off this unit, I'm gonna get a new
Another
unit.
unit, right.
So every 30K we get
You
a
make
new
another.
unit.
Okay.
So we up to 6 now. And at the end of last year, Justin gave us a trophy for having 100K in Airbnb revenue.
Okay.
In less than a year.
Yeah.
So
'cause that was
10 months in, we had already made over
6
100K
figures.
in this business venture. So that literally fell in my lap and replaced the
The income from
100K
the
that I was already
Right,
making with the
exactly.
bakery. So I'm
With
like,
less
I
work.
gotta keep doing this. Automated everything. And that was it. Like, once I branded it, I got the actual logo. It was bigger than just the LLC and the EIN. I had to make sure I got this whole nother business venture up and running, getting the credit, getting all this stuff. And I didn't know anything about corporate leasing.
Correct.
I knew about being a landlord. I knew about being a property manager, but I never put the two and two together to say I could do this, because my daddy owned property, so it was easy for me to manage properties. I know how to collect rent and all this and all that. But it wasn't like 12-month stays. It was like a few days. So I just had to figure out, how can I make this process easier for my tenant, one, for me, because I'm not in that city. And I was like, I prefer, for me, since I do have locations here in the city and locations outside of the city, I feel like it's easier outside of the city, because I'm not running there every it's not right there, it's not in arm's reach, so I have to let it run on its own. I'm not having to micromanage
or physically be in there,
because
I'm like, my ours, well, ours is in New Orleans, which is like 45 minutes away from here, but we I think I've probably been to that apartment, well, when we first got it, naturally we went there to make sure like the furniture got delivered, all this other stuff or whatever. When the girl finished decorating, when Candy finished decorating, we went there to, just to look at it or whatever, and then we met the photographer there, the real estate photographer, to do all the photos or whatever. But then after that, I went and met the lady that stayed there, and this was a nurse. She stayed for 3 months. We got our second tenant in there now that's there for a month. The next tenant is there for like almost 2 months or whatever. So right now, technically, our apartment has been booked out till mid-May since the end of December. Right.
And see, I'm booked up now. Like, all my units are booked up. The only one I've had like a slow run with was here in New Orleans. One of them here in New Orleans. But other than that, everything was always booked. As soon as I posted, I'm like at the top of the list. Well, new units automatically go to the top, but then you have to put certain. Y'all gotta
y'all gotta take the class. We're gonna tell y'all everything, but y'all got the gist of it, right? So it's really a no-brainer.
Easy for me to slide into that realm and like build my real estate portfolio.
Yeah, so I'll be adding more this year, but I appreciate my little sis for turning me on to that, because again, that's a no-brainer. So I'm definitely adding more units this year. But Drake, tell the people where they can follow you at, because Drake's life is really exciting, y'all. We going to Canada to Carnival this year on the Wealth Summit. So they only have a few slots. So when y'all see this, listen, get your deposit in. Get to Canada, because we doing Carnival, like all fancy with the bra tops and the jewels and the baby. We going to be shimmying out there in Canada streets. You hear me?
I literally just finalized everything for Canada. Shout out to Besties They Travel. They're doing hosting everything for us.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's the girls that's out here in Slidell?
Yeah,
Okay.
And Trina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that they playing trips too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. That's good to know. Well, all right, y'all. So
y'all can find me at Drika M. Carter on all platforms.
Okay, cool. So y'all done heard it all from the mouth right here. Like, this 34 years old, got the grand hustle going on. So guess what? Youth ain't no excuse for you saying like, I don't feel like I could succeed because I'm young, all these other things. Drake been doing this for 10 years now, right?
Yep.
Since she was 24. You understand? Like, don't make no excuses. Make a way. And that's all I got to say about that. So listen, thank y'all for tuning in this week to the Mind TV series. Join us next week, same time, same place, same station, as we bring you another boss entrepreneur that's going to teach you about how their journey to entrepreneurship has helped their life to move in new directions. So until next week, y'all, bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Go Getter University. It's the home and a one-stop for entrepreneurs, teaching all things entrepreneurship. We have courses ranging from how to start a business, how to start a nonprofit organization, to how to generate your first 10K consistent month, on to grant writing. Anything that you want to learn about entrepreneurship, it is in Go Getter University. Follow us at www.goalgetteruniversity.com to register.